Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 815 Exchange. I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 for episode 148 of the 815 Exchange. And well, I'm in much better spirits this week. Much better spirits. Partially because you guys are going went absolutely insane on the reaction videos this past week. Went insane. Okay? Insane. So much appreciative, and as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. You know the whole YouTube drill. I just popped up the graphic for it. You know what it is, okay? But we also have plenty to talk about this week. We have the NBA Finals. We have Champions League, the FA Cup, and some, retirements in soccer. We have a loaded entertainment segment. And yeah, just plenty to talk about in the world of sports and entertainment. So yes, sit back, relax, do what you gotta do. As always, everything you're looking for in this life can be found in this description below. So timestamps, you want to skip ahead to a certain subject matter, feel free to go ahead and do so. And of course, my social media links can be found there or in the outro. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what this is. We've been doing this for 148 straight weeks. Let's keep it moving. Soccer, football, wherever you are, depending on what country you're watching this from. Same thing. All right, it's going to be the same result this coming. I'm going to say it now. All right, before I even get to the real Champions League part, even because technically this is the Champions League part. All right, it's going to be the same result. All right, FA Cup, Manchester Derby, Man City versus Man United. We all know. This time it wasn't even the machine. It was IK Gundogan. Shout out to him. 2 volleys. He scored 13 seconds into the entire match. Man City is going to win the treble. They're going to win This is one of those moments where Chris comes on here and I'm like Nostradamus and I predict what happens before. Yeah, this is one of those times. Okay, and I've been saying it really for the past couple months. Man City is going to win the treble. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. FA Cup, ManU put up a good fight for the first 30 minutes or so. When Bruno Fernandes got that penalty, that changed things. But then Gundogan got that volley, and then it was just all Man City. Jadon Sancho, I have no idea what happened to him. He has just looked like a significantly worse player since coming over to Man United in a move that a lot of people were like, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. That's the future number 7. Absolutely not. And yeah, I've seen him rumored to go back to Dortmund. That might be, the Bundesliga might be a better pace for him. He's looked a little bit slow. I don't know if it's a mental thing with Sancho or what it is, but he has not been that same player, where he was one of the best youngsters on the planet back in Dortmund. He has not been that guy. He has not been that guy in the Prem. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, Gundogan, double volleys. Man City makes easy work of Man United, even though it was 2-1. Of course, they play Inter on Saturday for the Champions League final. Of course, I've made it no secret. I think Man City is going to win, if you haven't noticed by now. With that said, Lukaku is, in fact, dating Megan Thee Stallion now, so he could come out like they're like prime Ronaldo, and I'm talking about Brazilian Ronaldo. And, you never know. You never know. Lukaku, no slander this week. He's with Meg, so he could be a different man. He's in that Inter kit, which he always moves different in anyways, so you never know. We will see what happens, but of course I got Man City. We have some retirements, we have some moves. People retiring, people and just kind of like leaving. We got Benzema going to Saudi Arabia, to go play for the Saudis at like Al Ittihad. I think it's Al Ittihad where they said he was going. But yeah, he's leaving Real Madrid. He leaves their all-time leading assist man and their second to all-time leading goal scorer. So the class of 2009, the all-time great the greatest probably transfer window for one team ever. Ronaldo, Benzema, Kaká. I don't think they got Ramos 2009. Or did they get Ramos in 2009? I don't think so. But maybe. But I'm missing so many others. Alonso. Like, it was ridiculous. All right, y'all can go look at it. But yeah, ridiculous. Last of them has left. Shout out to Benz, though. King Kareem leaves a very large legacy at Real Madrid. One of their most iconic players ever. One of their greatest players ever. Zlatan retires. Okay, the icon himself for every single club ever. But yeah, he retires for AC Milan. Went back there, helped them get back on their feet, and called it career. It was time. I think the injuries were starting to get to his body. He was up there in age. So, yeah, Zlatan, one of the most iconic players of that kind of past era, has retired. One of the biggest personalities I think we've seen ever in world football. And Messi and Ramos are leaving PSG, which is not really... Maybe Ramos, but Messi really not a surprise. It's been rumored for weeks and weeks and months. Really, since he got to PSG, people have been like, oh, yeah, Messi's about to leave. So, not really a surprise. He's probably going home to Barcelona. We will see what happens, though, as the transfer window is now open. But we will talk about the Champions League final and all that next week. Now, baseball. Baseball. And, of course, I would be amiss if I did not talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the king of New York himself. I mean, this is what the baseball segment is at this point. I'm going to be completely honest. It's just me talking about how great Aaron Judge is every single week. I'm sorry. I'm a shameless Yankees fan, okay? I'm sorry. But I'm sorry. He's Aaron Judge, okay? Even though he hurt his foot because the Dodgers apparently cannot make a fence that can close correctly or is stable enough. But then again, they probably weren't equating for a 6'7", 280-pound outfielder to come crashing into the wall / fence. So maybe not their fault. But anyways, Judge really since he came back since his injury. He's been on demon time. He has been pretty much a mirror image of what he was last year, which is great. And yes, our captain has been phenomenal. Launched back up to MVP races. But the most interesting thing in baseball going on currently is actually in college baseball. I'm going to be completely honest. The Charlotte 49ers. Of course, we got to talk about the former home team. My great university. Took out Clemson. The ACC we talked about Clemson last week. I popped up the little pictures we took at the ACC championship, which I was at last week. Clemson in all their glory. Of course, they played Tennessee the night before. Caden Grice went 8 2/3. Was great. Looked like the guy that he's supposed to be. Cam Cannarella got thrown out on some BS. I'm not going to lie. Don't really agree with that. So we had to sit out this game versus us after they lost to Tennessee. And then we went and beat Clemson. We knocked out the ACC champions. You got to love it. Now, we did have to play Tennessee later that day or yesterday, and we lost 9-2. But you know what? We beat Clemson, okay? We beat Clemson at the end of the day. It was a successful year. Won the Conference USA Baseball Tournament for the first time ever. We won, we got the ACC champions at their own regional. I'm fine. I'm chilling. Tennessee, fair play. Chase Dolander has not been who he's supposed to be this year. We'll see if he can get it together. But nonetheless, GG's, but happy for Charlotte. We also talked about last week the Yo-Yo show. I talked about how Yohanny Morales was one of the best players in America. I'm once again here to tell you, the baseball segment feels very familiar, doesn't it? I'm bragging about Judge, Charlotte, and Yo-Yo. All right, the Yo-Yo show continued here in the NCAA Baseball Tournament. The victim this week was Louisiana. Back and forth game, but then Yohanny Morales goes 4 for 5, 2 home runs. He ended up with 3 home runs for the day, but Miami did take the L to Texas later on, so hook 'em horns. They took him out, but Yo-Yo had 3 home runs. He went some ridiculous, okay? He's that guy, okay? He's that guy. First rounder. I saw the latest MLB Pipeline mock draft. He was first round. That's insane. So I don't know who needs to correct that, but yes, that's a first round. That is a first round third baseman. That is a first round third baseman. The best third baseman in the country. Not up for an argument. Not up for debate. But we will see where the Yo-Yo show goes next. And we'll see what happens. Other news in baseball, college baseball. TCU took out Arkansas 20-5. Arkansas then had a fight for their life. I don't know if they won though, because I was done with my notes before that game ended. But TCU beat the brakes off of them earlier in the day, 20-5. Trey Richardson hit not 1, not 2, but 3 home runs, and not 1, but 2 grand slams back-to-back. Had 11 RBIs in this game. Once again, this is Arkansas's regional. And they got punked by TCU. So, we will see. We will see what happened to Arkansas. I don't know if they won in the game last night. I can actually check real quick while we're live here. But it was a very, 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 very ugly game. Yes, they did. They did win, and now they rematch versus TCU by the time that this episode is out. So you can let me know whether TCU got it or, yeah, if Arkansas got it back in blood against TCU. And Xavier eliminated Vanderbilt to end off the upsets. I said it was going to be a chaotic NCAA baseball tournament. It has been chaos so far. And, yeah, Vandy. Enrique Bradfield is not as impressive as a prospect as I was expecting to be with all the hype around him. Vandy, I think, was a little bit of a rebuilding year. But still a big shot for them to lose to Xavier and get eliminated in this fashion. But nonetheless, it has been a chaotic NCAA tournament. I said it was going to be, I had that vibe. It's been chaotic. We'll see what happens, though, in the coming days. Entertainment. As we take a Deer Park unofficial water sponsor water break. Because we got to talk about that movie, ladies and gentlemen. The #1 movie in the country. Of course, and is well deserved. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Now, Chris, did you know, I saw the hype. I saw the 97 or whatever it had on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw all of it. All my friends that saw it before me, on opening night, they were like, oh, it's the best movie, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, the first one was really good. This one will be, okay, it'll be good. It'll be good. But greatest movie of all time, like, y'all gotta relax. Okay, it was a really, really, really good. It lived up to the hype. Basically, what I'm saying is it lived up to the hype. It was a really, 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 really good movie. And might end up being one of my favorite movies of the year. Wow. Where do we start? Miguel O'Hara. Shout out to Oscar Isaac. He was great. Miguel was simultaneously... It was that perfect blend. They hit that character perfectly, right? In the sense that he was menacing, but he also had that, like, he was still Spider-Man. In a sense. Like, everybody is their own variation. We had all 50 billion versions of Spider-Man in the... I mean, if you weren't... I don't even think you could really be qualified as Spider-Man if you weren't in this movie. We had every single Spider-Man ever. We had the Icicle Spider-Man in this. I mean, they were all chasing Miles. So, I mean, shout out to Miles. Because he somehow got out of that. I don't know how realistic that was, but you know what? We'll let it stick for the story. But anyways, Miguel O'Hara was great. Peter B. Parker made his return as our favorite dad Spider-Man. And yes, Mayday also included an adorable kid. That is a staple of every great, universally like adult and kid-loved animated movie is you have to have some type of adorable creature or child. And Mayday fulfilled that requirement. So you just knew it was going to be a banger. But yeah, Mayday, she was great. Of course, I don't need to say who stole the show. He's probably been all over your Twitter feeds. Shout out to Daniel, because he's a phenomenal actor. And apparently a phenomenal voice actor as well, because, yeah, Spider-Punk, Hobie Brown was him. All right, Hobie was just chaos. He lived for it. His intro was probably my favorite character intro of anybody in the entire movie. It was great. All right, it was phenomenal. Hobie was dope. I was very interested in seeing, like, more of his story actually after the movie. Of course, the focal points were Miles and Gwen. Gwen got a lot more prominent role in this movie. And I think it elevated her as a character and also elevated the movie. Telling kind of both sides of the coin, both sides of the story. Seeing what she's going through and, comparing it to what Miles is going through. So, yeah. It's really cool. Really, really cool. Love the way they developed their relationship. And, yeah. Miles and Gwen to the end. His parents got to see some more evolution of their characters. Miles' mom I am so sorry. This is terrible. And really not any type of critical, like, anything critically that I'm talking about. Because I cannot find the words for it. But Miles' mom is fine. I'm okay. She's another one of the great animated moms. She's fine. Alright? I cannot be the only one that thought Miles' mom was hot. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it here. This could come back to haunt me. But listen, I'm going to say it. Alright? She was fine. Alright? But she was also a great character. And, yeah, seeing her relationship with Miles and Miles struggled to tell her the truth. Even though he wanted to. But, yeah, the animation was great. Sony keeping the rights has paid off, man. It is paid off. The animation was great. I love the way they animated the different worlds to show you the differences. The Indian Spider-Man, like, everything was great. All right, it was a great, great, great movie. If you haven't for some reason watched it, go watch it. It was a really good movie. They're not paying me to say this. I did not expect, spoiler alert, the cliffhanger at the end, okay? I did not expect that. But it left me fulfilled nonetheless, and left me wanting to go see the next one. So yeah, Across the Spiderverse, massive cosign, 10 out of 10. Go watch it. It was great. Now, let's talk about something that was not a 10 out of 10. Now, I love The Weeknd. Everybody knows he's one of my favorite artists. I even like Lily Rose Depp, okay? She seems fine, okay? Seems fine. The Idol was not... and of course, you had Jenny fucking Kim in this, and we know I love Jenny Kim, but boy, oh boy. Even though I don't hate Sam Levinson as much as some other people absolutely detest Sam Levinson, this was not a good episode. That was not a good hour of television. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was not a good episode of television. It just felt like it dragged. That's the best way I can put that. It felt like it dragged, and like I feel like I was missing context, and it just wasn't running smoothly. It just wasn't. It was like it just didn't work. Whatever it was, it just did not work in episode 1. Now, because it's the HBO show that's going on right now, I will be talking about the show and putting myself through this every week until I cannot anymore. But it just was not, it wasn't hitting. Alright? It was not hitting the way it was supposed to be hitting. And I can see why a lot of people were turned off by the sexual content. Because my goodness, they had Lily Rose Depp doing all types of... Which I don't know why everybody's like, oh my gosh, where's her... She's Johnny Depp's daughter. And she's her own woman, by the way. So she can do what she wants, by the way. And from the way it talked about, these people love Sam. So it's not like Sam forced them to do anything. But I don't know why y'all are so like, oh, she's doing this like adult type stuff. She's a Depp. It's literally what they do. But anyways, LRD, it just wasn't working. Though, I will say, Abel was actually a very menacing, slimy villain. Okay? He played that role to Doris. He was pretty good. He hasn't been in too many acting roles, but he was pretty good. He was a pretty good actor. We'll see what happens though. But yeah, honestly, I was more, and this is not just because she was Jenny. I was more interested in Diane than anybody else on the show through that first episode. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But the Idol was not good. I'm not gonna lie. But they do make great music, of course, because it's Abel and Popular by Abel. Madonna and Cardi was great. Okay, Popular, that was stuck in my head all Friday. As soon as that came out, was stuck in my head. That song was phenomenal. Off the soundtrack they dropped this past week. It was great. Okay, so the week that they hit. Cardi's part was like, at first it took a little to grow. Felt a little unnecessary at first, but took a little to grow. But Madonna and The Weeknd killed it. So yeah, Popular, cosign. We had a good week of music. All right, Bread and Butter, Gunna, cosign. Okay, Gunna's back. One is back. He heard all y'all talking. He had to address some of y'all, but he's back. All right, real deal. Wanna. He's back. Cosign. Put It on the Floor remix. Feat Cardi. Latto. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. It's not for me technically, I guess, but it's still hard. All right. I know it's for the lit, but it's hard. All right. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. Cardi gave LSU a shout out. I don't know if it was as good as the Tomorrow 2 verse, but you know what? Cardi has been killing a lot of these feature verses. And as people were saying on Twitter all weekend and in discourse, this feature run she's on is kind of carrying the fact that she does not have to drop albums. She can just keep dropping these features that are fire, and everybody's still going to rank her amongst the top female rappers in the game. But anyways, Put on the Floor remix was dope. Moneybagg Yo. I'm not going to give this an official rating for the album he dropped, but it was over an 8. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's between an 8 or a 9. Not my favorite Moneybagg Yo project, but it was still very good. Which is, he been quiet, so I don't know if this is going to do as well as the past ones, but yeah. Moneybagg Yo, F My Baby Mama, Rock Out, Feat Dirk, and YTV Fat. One of my favorites off of that. And before I run out of time here, Split Decision, Dave, Cinch, What Better? Alright, Trojan Horse, Heat, Sprinter, Heat, UK Rap, Heat, our 25th birthday, Heat. 4 for 4 on the EP. It was phenomenal. If you have not listened to that, I posted my story yesterday. So yeah, it was phenomenal. It was my favorite project of the entire weekend. Not going to get a rating because it's only 4 songs, but yeah, they went 4 for 4. You know it. All right, it's time for the stuff. All right, it's championship. It's championship time. Okay, NHL, Stanley Cup. It's the Stanley Cup Final. The Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Florida Panthers in Game 1. Who would it be? We were tied up 2-2. heading into the third period, and who was going to rise to the occasion? Who was going to take grip of this series? It was the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, they won 5-2. 3 in the third, unanswered. Got it done. Mark Stone scored a worldie. But we need to talk about Jack Eichel. We need to talk about my boy Jack Eichel. Already had 2 assists in this game. But we need to talk about the fact that he is leading the Vegas Golden Knights in scoring, which puts him in Conn Smythe territory, ladies and gentlemen. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Would that be something? If out of, we had McKinnon, who was a little bit before them, but still basically the same generation. But you had McDavid and Eichel, right? That was the big conversation. And then you had Matthews the year after, right? That was the big, there was 3/4, really, with McKinnon, okay? And Mac and Matthews and McDavid, of course, launched themselves into the stratosphere and beyond. And Eichel was left kind of in the dust with the Sabres. And then he got hurt. And he was out. And it was these guys, they fulfilled what they were supposed to be. Eichel, who was neck and neck, right under McDavid. He never became that guy. So boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, would it be funny. Would it be funny if Eichel wins a Stanley Cup before McDavid and Matthews? Boy, oh boy, would that be fun. Imagine if he wins a Conn Smythe before Connor McDavid. Imagine talking about that 2 years ago. 5 years ago, maybe you'd have been like, oh. But 2 years ago, that just would be absolutely hilarious. And it's a very real possibility. Eichel, listen, I think he needs to get out of the situation anyway. But Vegas did the right thing. Let him get the surgery, worked out, and now they have the young star back again. So, yeah. Eichel has been who we thought Jack Eichel was supposed to be once upon a time. He has been that guy, even better, honestly, because his defense is much improved. And he was a menace, causing all types of things and all types of problems for the Florida Panthers. But yeah, Aiden Hill also had that insane save with the stick. I did not forget about that. And yeah, Vegas, they take game 1, game 2 tonight. We will see what happens. But yeah, no predictions. Just go watch, have a good time. Vegas takes game 1 though, and yeah, game 2 is going to be not pivotal, but very important in terms of kind of where momentum shifts in that series. The National Basketball Association is in the middle of the NBA Finals. Game 2 was yesterday. Denver, trounced Miami in game 1. Had a lot of people thinking, uh-oh. My co-host is not here this week because there was no sweeps. But a lot of people were like, hey, he might need to be on watch. You might need to have him on call. But the Miami Heat were having absolutely none of that. They played terrific basketball. And for the first time in the playoffs this year, somebody has beaten the Denver Nuggets in Denver. And it was the Miami Heat. Of course it was the Miami Heat, the greatest 8th seed of all time. Now, Joker had 41 and 11. Okay, he has been going absolutely, positively stupid. Okay, he has been going stupid. Joker has been, there is nothing the Heat can do right now, it seems. Now, maybe Spo hops in the stew and he gets to cooking, but right now, it is grim. Okay, it is grim. Nikola Jokic is playing like the best basketball player on the face of the planet, and he doesn't remotely look like he plans on stopping anytime soon. They cannot stop him. They can't. They cannot. Through 2 games, they have not been able to do with him. Murray was held under 20 points yesterday. Only had 10 assists. So not a bad game. But nobody else. The thing with the Heat, they played great. They stopped everybody else for Denver. Nobody else really got off. Some had some okay, decent games. But nobody else got off the way that Joker and Murray even didn't really get off in yesterday's game. They did a great job on everybody besides Nikolai and said, hey, if he beats us, and this might be the winning formula. Look, if he beats us, fair play, we'll shake his hand, one of the greatest players of all time. If somebody else beats us, then that's on us. We're just not going to get beat by anybody else besides him. So that might work. That worked yesterday. Bam. For all of everything I just said about nobody being able to stop Joker, Bam is having a good series. Honestly, if the Heat win this, he could win Finals MVP potentially. All right? He had 21 and 9 yesterday. He was good in game 1. He hasn't been bad. It's just Joker's just Joker. But Bam has been decent, and he was good yesterday, 21-9. Jimmy Butler continues to be the most inefficient 20-point scorer of the playoffs, but simultaneously the clutchest man alive. He's just a dangerous, dangerous man. 21-9 also for Jimmy, 9 assists. Gabe Vincent, though, led the Miami Heat in scoring, 23 points. By the way, I am very close to starting a Gabe Vincent Finals MVP agenda. Okay, so I just want everybody to be on notice. If that kicks off, y'all heard it here first, okay? Because he's been hooping. Gabe has been hooping. Just saying, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. But we will see. All right, Heat take game 2. I think that was really big. Nobody's been able to beat Denver at home. And that's just been, that's been the staple. That's been the killer. Every time you go to Denver, every time you go to Colorado, you deal with the elephant. You kill, you're dead. You're dead. They've been unbeatable. So Miami being able to knock that off from the start changes things around very, very, very dramatically. And yeah, 1-1 going into the series. We going back to Miami. Open some things up a little bit. Gives the Heat a lot more hope. And yeah, we will see what happens. Okay, so we just had the fire truck beam down our neighborhood. So if you saw me go like that, or you heard the alarm or the sirens going on in the background, I don't think there's a fire. It's all the way down, So yeah, just context on why you saw me probably peek up and be like, yo, what's going on? But anyways, we're flying down my neighborhood. But anyways, welcome to the roundup. All right, a very chaotic start to the roundup, but you know where? There hasn't been much chaos, except if you're McLaren, okay? Because McLaren, you started off the week, on top of the world. Lando, both of them, top 10, right? BQ3, PS3, and Lando. Lando qualified third. Everybody was like, oh, podium? Yeah, well, that did not work out. Lando got hit by Lewis on accident. Of course, the Mercedes is built out of a brick. So nothing happened to Lewis's car, but Lando's wing fell off. So that was the end of that. Max, however, as always, wins. He wins Spain. He is now one away from Senna for 5th all the time. Max wins Spain. Merck, though, got a rest of the rest of the podium lockout. So, yeah, Lewis got 2nd because Shakira was there. And because he always does well at Spain. And, yeah, George got 3rd. So, that's how we go. Ham, Russ. Verstappen's winning the world. Y'all know what it is. All right. Kyle Busch wins at World Tech. I said KB was going to be a problem this year. I felt like he was going to be a problem in that Childress number 8. He has been a problem. He is still a problem. He was a problem yesterday. He wins World Tech. USA wins the 3v3 World Cup. Of course, it's notable because we had one Cameron Brink and Haley Van Love, 2 of the best players in the country and 2 of the top draft prospects in next year's coming class. If they decide to declare, of course, we've got COVID kind of messing everything up, but nonetheless, they're both draft eligible next year. But Camo, HBL, did their thing. Cam won MVP. And yeah, it was cool to see their TikToks and, them just kind of hanging out and seeing that generation. The golden generation for women's basketball, just kind of having fun and winning gold medals for America. So yeah, shout out to the Red, White, and Blue. Shout out to HBL. Shout out to the other 2 players as well, Lene Harper and Miss Burdock herself, for their contributions. But USA wins the 3v3 World Cup. Rose Zhang won the national championship in women's golf at Stanford 14 days ago. Yesterday, she won her first LGPA tournament. Just like that. National champion to winning your first as a professional in your debut. So, Rose Zhang making an impact early on as potentially one of the best female golfers on God's green earth. And of course, before we end off, the French Open is going on. Carlos Alcaraz and Musari played a beautiful game yesterday that I watched. 2 very young competitors. Could be a rivalry going on in the future. So we will see what happens there. But yes, I'm very excited. I'm rooting for Los because I just want to see the next generation in tennis. I think it's time. All right, with Holger, Los, the rest of them, we need new blood. All right, Novak, especially with Roger gone and Roth is injured, and I just don't want Novak to just like stat pad with him gone. So I want the new generation to step up. It's time. All right, they dominated for 15 years. I love them to death. They really imparted, of course, because that's the tennis, stars and legends I grew up on. But it's time for new blood. I'm hopeful to see new blood. Let's go, Los. We will see what happens. But yeah, we'll talk about the French Open next week as it concludes. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed because I most certainly did. We had a Triple Crown this past weekend. Let's keep up the momentum. Lifting my spirits for sure. And I hope you guys have a great week. But without further ado, Ocho, signing off.